Good morning. Welcome to all participants and attendees. We sincerely appreciate your interest and presence here today. First of all, I have to apologize for the absence today of IBEI Director, Professor Laura Cheques, for health-related reasons. And let me start saying that at IBEI, we have organized this conference as a concluding event for our 20th anniversary celebrations in 2025. Over these 2 decades, we started operations in 2005. Over these 2 decades, IBEI has evolved from an initial idea to create a center promoting training and research in international studies into a solid institution now recognized worldwide among the top graduate schools in international affairs, particularly in Europe. Starting just a few students and researchers in a small building near La Ramblas in Barcelona, IBEI now offers 4 master's programs plus 2 Erasmus Mundus funded programs funded by the European Union, hosts more than 300 students, and counts around 60 faculty members and researchers. It has gained international recognition as a major center for education and research, with a growing reputation and multiple institution links in Africa, Asia, Latin America, North America, and of course, Europe. A key distinctive feature of IBEI has always been the close connection between advanced research and graduate teaching, based on the conviction that the studying international relations and related disciplines at the highest level requires an environment where cutting-edge research is actively taking place. And we have been investing a lot and taking a lot of efforts to this goal. The importance, for example, the importance of EU competitive funding achieved in the recent years at IBEI, which have almost half of the IBEI budget, with large ERC projects and Marie Curie programs clearly illustrate this trend. This conference addresses a particular challenging topic in today's turbulent world, marked by shifting dynamics in global governance, international economics, and geopolitics. Our aim is to bring some of the most relevant and high-level debates in the fields of international trade, finance, and development to Barcelona, and to bring such discussion closer to us. So, open dialogue and the exchange of knowledge, we hope to explore new ways of overcoming the complex gridlocks that characterize global governance, gridlocks often root in collective action problems and the lack of effective coordination initiative amid contestation and globalization. We call this the IBEI annual conference, as we plan to continue this initiative in the coming years. Each edition will focus on major themes in global governance and international politics, creating a space for academics, policymakers, and professionals to engage in meaningful debate on issues of shared concern. Finally, I want to express my sincere gratitude to our partners in this initiative, also members of IBEI Board of Patrons, the Department of European Union and Foreign Affairs of the Generalitat de Catalunya, and the Cercle d'Economia. My word thanks also as well to Antoni Esteve-Dordal, the conference convener, for designing this outstanding program and working tirelessly to make it a reality, and to all IBEI members that have contributed to the organization of this event. Let me conclude by wishing you all an enjoyable and inspiring conference, filled with passionate debates, thought-provoking discussions, and fruitful exchanges. The theme that brings us together today is not only intellectually stimulating, but also crucial for understanding the challenges that lie ahead for our societies. In times of rapid transformation and growing uncertainty, the need for rigorous analysis, open dialogue, and collaborative thinking has never been greater. Conferences like this one provide a vital space for reflection, for bridging perspectives between academia, policymaking, and practice, and for collective envisioning more sustainable and inclusive futures. I am confident that the diversity of experiences, backgrounds, and expertise represented here will make this conference today truly enriching. I encourage all of you to take full advantage of this opportunity to connect, to share your insights, and to engage in conversations that may inspire new ideas and collaborations. Once again, thank you for being here, and I wish you a most stimulating and rewarding conference. And I now pass the word to Mrs. Lorena Elvira, General Secretary of the Department of European Union and Foreign Affairs, and I thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, esteemed guests, friends, what does it mean to govern in a world where the rules are shifting under our feet? Bon dia a tothom. It is a great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the government of Catalonia to Barcelona and to this first IBEI, annual conference on global economic governance at the Crossroads. Allow me to begin by thanking President Jacint Jordana, Professor Robert Kisak, and the entire IBEI team for convening this impressive gathering. My thanks also go to the Cercle d'Economia, whose partnership has made this conference possible, and to our high-level participants and the many researchers and policymakers joining us from across Europe and beyond. It is an honor to open this day alongside Professor Andrés Velasco, whose keynote we are all looking forward to. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay the full session, and as I must attend a government preparatory meeting, but I look forward to reading the outcomes of the debate. Barcelona has long been a city of ideas, a bridge between Europe and the Mediterranean, and a meeting point for dialogue between policy and research. Hosting today's debate here feels not only appropriate but symbolic of the role of cities and regions can play in strengthening international cooperation. We are meeting at a time of exceptional complexity. Across every region and sector, the very foundations of the global economic order are being tested, sometimes stressed to the point of fracture. We are not simply experiencing a period of turbulence. We are living through a structural transition from a world defined by integration to one shaped by rivalry, inequality, and technological acceleration. For decades, globalization was seen as a unifying force, connecting markets, ideas, and people. But the world of 2025 tells a different story. It is shaped by geopolitical rivalry, rising inequality, climate breakdown, and a digital revolution that outspaces regulation. Institutions that once embodied global cooperation, such as the United Nations, the WTO, the IMF, find themselves struggling to mediate conflicts and adapt to multipolar realities. Meanwhile, new actors, new coalitions, and new forms of rulemaking are emerging, sometimes cooperative, sometimes competitive. This year marks the 18th anniversary of the United Nations, a moment to reaffirm its founding principles, but also to recognize that the institutions built in 1945 must evolve to meet the challenges of 2025. As Secretary General Guterres has reminded us, reform is imperative. From modernizing the Security Council to strengthening human rights mechanisms and making cooperation more transparent, inclusive, and accountable. As we have seen, economics and geopolitics are no longer separate spheres. They are two sides of the same coin. The overlapping shocks of recent years, from the pandemic to wars in Europe and the Middle East, have exposed those vulnerabilities. They have fueled protectionism, widened inequalities, and deepened the urgency of the climate crisis. As a result, global growth has slowed to barely 2%, and according to the IMF, a world split into rival blocs could lose up to 7% of GDP, erasing the output of entire economies. And yet, interdependence has not disappeared. Our supply chains, financial systems, and technological networks remain deeply connected. The paradox of our time is this: fragmentation and interdependence coexist. The question is not whether the system will change, it already is, but how we guide that change toward fairness, sustainability, and trust. That is why this conference matters. That is why you matter. Global economic governance is not collapsing, it is transforming. And rethinking it requires more than policy proposals, it requires new perspectives. A feminist perspective, for instance, reminds us that legitimacy comes not from tradition or power, but from inclusion. That institutions must reflect the diversity of the world they serve, or risk losing trust. Inclusion is not charity, it is strategy. We are here to imagine what a fairer, greener, more inclusive order might look like and how to build it piece by piece through cooperation. This quest for legitimacy is not theoretical, it is visible in the shifting geography of power. Power no longer sits in one capital or alliance. It stretches across Beijing, Brasilia, New Delhi, and beyond. The expansion of BRICS Plus, the growing influence of the G77, and the assertiveness of regional organizations from ASEAN to the African Union all underline a common demand, a more representative and equitable system. The UN Financing for Development conference in Seville was a step in that direction, linking finance, climate, and development with voices from North and South. Reforms means sharing both voice and responsibility, not only the benefits, but also the burdens of global cooperation. Within this shifting order, Europe must remain a pillar of multilateralism while adapting through open strategic autonomy. If Europe is to shape its future, it needs greater capacity in energy, technology, defense, and in aligning trade with climate goals. As Enrico Letta and Mario Draghi reminded us last year, competitiveness requires a renewed industrial policy, a stronger single market, and joint investment. From Catalonia, we see the global transition up close. Droughts threaten our agriculture and water supply. Our businesses adapt to new trade norms. Our youth demand justice, climate, economic, and gender. That is why we have aligned our foreign action with the Sustainable Development Goals, launched programs for green investment and feminist cooperation, and strengthened our engagement with Europe and the Mediterranean. For us, the global is local, and the local deserves a voice globally. Behind every institution, every policy, every reform proposal we will discuss today, there are deeper questions. Who defines the rules? Who sits at the decision-making table? Who benefits from the system? Whose voices are heard? Policy without research risks being blind. Research without policy risks being irrelevant. We need both in constant dialogue. And that is what makes gatherings like this one so vital. They are acts of democratic dialogue, of imagination, and of shared responsibility. Today, we will explore trade in a digital, decarbonizing world, discuss finance that is both climate aligned and socially fair, reflect on Europe and Catalonia's place in the global order, and chart pathways for reform. Together, you are helping shape the ideas that will define the next chapter of globalization. Let me close with this. Let us not be mere observers of change, let us shape it. Let us question orthodoxies and build bridges. Let us act not from fear, but from purpose. Let us imagine a globalization grounded in dignity, solidarity, and sustainability. And let Barcelona today be one small step in that direction. Moltes gràcies a totes i a tots. Thank you, and I wish you a productive and very inspiring conference.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Kizik. My job today is to guide us through what is an incredibly rich and incredibly interesting program. We have, as you see, the title of our conference is Global Economic Governance at a Crossroads, Reimagining Trade and Development Cooperation. This morning, which is a true Spanish morning because it goes on until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's when our lunch is, we have a very full schedule.